Hey guys, Thinking here, bringing another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle video, and yes, it has finally happened after days of waiting and hoping and coping and streams of today's going to be the day and so on and so forth. We are finally here with the details for the 7-year LRs and their EZAs, the physical LR Super Saiyan 4s and the TEQ LR Gods. Their EZA details have been posted by both Global and JP. Global actually coming in clutch with the details being posted at the same time, so we don't have to wait for them to be translated or anything. So we are literally going to be jumping straight in here now to check out the details. I haven't read them. We're literally just live here on stream. Hit record and we're going to go through these details and see if they are good. The EZAs throughout the celebration have been a bit hit or miss for some people, for sure, but these are probably the most anticipated EZAs of the year, right? So yeah, let's just go ahead and see what we got. So the funny thing is, the only thing I saw actually before we started, so for their leader skill, we speculated about whether they would change the leader skill at all. Literally all they've done is given the plus 30% to Kamehameha an additional 1 key. So if the units are on Kamehameha, they get 4 key and 200% lead. But other than that, it hasn't changed at all. So it's Fused Fighters or GT Heroes 170, and then Kamehameha get 30% and 1 extra key, which is kind of funny. So the Super Saiyan 4s, they get their entrance animation, they get 77% damage reduction and a guaranteed additional super for 1 turn. And then they get key to attack and defense 100% and guard for 7 turns. 7 turns. Okay. So we were talking about how pre-EZA they had guard for 1 turn, and wouldn't it be nice if they got it for 3, and then any more than that would maybe be expecting too much. They have guard for 7 turns, and they get a guaranteed additional super on the first turn, which obviously for stacking units is really, really good. Base effects are attack and defense 200%, 2 extra key per type key sphere obtained. Then for every key sphere obtained, they get attack and defense 10% up to 77%. For every rainbow key sphere obtained, they get a crit chance of 10%. I think pre-EZA it was only 7. When attacking with 17 or more key, they get an additional super attack, guaranteed. And then at 20 or more key, attacks effective against all types and another additional super attack. Jeez. So that means on turn 1, they get a guaranteed additional super anyway. Then at 17 key, they get another one. At 20 key, they get another one. So on turn 1, as long as you get 20 key, at a bare minimum, they do 4 super attacks. And then obviously if you get the hidden potential, they do 5. And they are a stacking unit, right? And now for their super attacks, oh, okay. So their super attacks, they have made both of their super attacks greatly raise attack and defense. So both of their supers now infinitely stack greatly. I was assuming that at most we would see the 18 key go up to greatly raise, and then the 12 key would stay as a normal raise, but they're both greatly raise. So on turn 1, not only do they have 77% damage reduction and guard, so you can basically just put them in slot 1, they're going to super 4 times at least, right? 4 or 5 basically, and each one of those super attacks is going to greatly raise their defense. Like, I'm already trying to imagine what their start of turn 2 defense is going to be, and they're still going to have guard, which is ridiculous. So then, yeah, if we take a look at Gogeta, so Gogeta has 77% damage reduction for 1 turn. So once you fuse into Gogeta, you get that 77% damage reduction again. He's got attack and defense 300%, 2 extra key per key sphere, attacks offensive against all types. Oh, he just has permanent guard, high chance to crit, launches an additional super, guaranteed, foresees enemy super attack. So he just has a guaranteed scouter. Okay, just all the time with no restriction. Okay. For 4 turns from his entry turn, he changes key spheres to rainbow. For each key sphere obtained, he gets 10% up to 100. For each rainbow orb, he gets crit chance and damage reduction 10%. When activating the active skill or 24 key, he gets 50% extra attack. When receiving an attack, he gets 50% damage reduction within the turn. Wait, what? So on turn 1, as soon as he gets hit, actually, yeah, on turn 1, he's literally invincible. Because on turn 1, he has 77% damage reduction and then gets 50% damage reduction when receiving an attack. So on the turn where he comes out, where he's transformed into Gogeta, you literally cannot take damage. I mean, you'll take double-digit damage, obviously. And then when receiving a super, great chance to counter. So, wow, they really upgraded his counter to the TEQ Gogeta, 70% chance to counter. And then nullifies with tremendous power when facing only one enemy and that enemy's HP is 50% or less. Oh! So if he's facing one enemy and their HP is 50% or less, he guaranteed counters. And he has a Scouter. I think that's one time only, but because it's got the exclamation mark 1. But yeah, nullifies it and counters with tremendous power when facing one enemy and that enemy's HP is 50% or less. He gets a guaranteed... He's actually insane. Like, yeah, he's easily like... Is he top 3? I mean... Is he... Well, I mean, I don't want to go that far straight away after just reading his details, but is he better than the new Gogeta and Vegito? Probably not, but... Good lord. He's actually insane. Like, as literally turn 1, you can't take damage. You get a guaranteed counter if the enemy's at 50% or less, and if they're not, it's a 70%. And then, even after the first turn, you have Guard, you have 50% damage reduction when you get hit, and you have a permanent Scouter, so... Good lord, that's insane. And then obviously if we look at the gods, their base kit's probably going to be exactly the same, right, like it was pre-EZA. So extra key on the leader skill, 77% damage reduction and a guaranteed additional super, guard for 7 turns, yeah, 200% stats. Like, all of this stuff is exactly the same, right? So their base kits are exactly the same, just like they were before. So obviously incredibly good. 4 or 5 supers on the first turn. The fact they have 77% damage reduction and guard. So, like, turn 1, they can just go in slot 1, which is wild. And then, yeah, they greatly raise on both their supers. So their base forms are exactly the same. So let's have a look at the blues and see how they compare to Gogeta. So they also get the 77% for 1 turn damage reduction. 2 key per key sphere. Attacks effective against all types. Guard. High chance to crit. Medium chance to dodge. Change int key spheres to rainbow. So they kept the chance to dodge as medium. That's interesting. And then for 4 turns, they randomly change key spheres of a certain type other than int to rainbow. So for the first 4 turns, they're creating multiple rainbow orbs. For every key sphere obtained, 10% attack and defense. Yeah, for every rainbow key sphere obtained, crit chance and dodge chance. So remember, Gogeta gets crit chance and damage reduction. So I think... Okay... So if you get, like, they're creating a bunch of rainbow orbs, so you're probably going to get 3 or 4, like, every turn with them, which means they're going to have a 60 to 70% chance to dodge, like, every turn. 7 or more key spheres obtained, they get an additional super. They get an additional super with 20 key. And then, yeah, when activating the active skill or attacking with 24 key, they get 50% attack. When attacking, they get a crit and launch an additional super when the enemy's HP is 50% or more. When receiving an attack, I think this is once only again, but evade enemy attack when HP is 50% or less. So when your HP is 50% or less, they guarantee dodge, which is kind of wild. Guaranteed crits if the enemy's on low HP, as well as another super, so they can help towards actually finishing off the enemy once and for all. But, like, I mean, Gogeta seems way better because of the massive amounts of damage reduction, Scouter, 70% chance to counter. Like, these guys don't have a Scouter. They have multiple orb changing and a built-in chance to dodge, which is only medium. But the amount of, like, damage reduction that this guy has, as well as having the Scouter and guard, like, they both have guard, but yeah, Gogeta seems way better. Not that these guys aren't good, of course. Like, these guys are going to be absolutely crazy as well, right? They're going to get multiple supers off with the rainbow orbs. You're not only going to be hitting hard, but you have the high chance to dodge if you do drop below 50%. Now, it does say when receiving an attack. So it also means if you drop 50% during the turn, then that guaranteed dodge will activate. So that's interesting. But yeah, these guys are obviously incredibly good. Oh yeah, we didn't look at Gogeta's super attacks, did we? So it's massively raised attack and defense for 4 turns on his 18 key, and then the 12 key is massively raised attack and greatly raised defense for 1 turn. So he still greatly raises defense on the 12 key, but massively raises attack. And then massively raises on the 18 key for both, for 4 turns, and disables the enemy action. So I'm assuming they're just going to be the same. So not only are they going to be crazy on their first appearance, but when they come back again, this massively raised for 4 turns buff will still be in play. So yeah, they're actually insanely good. That's the thing. I think people will underrate these guys because I would say they're not as good as Gogeta, but they are still really, really good. Like damage reduction 77% on the first turn with guard, backed up by the fact that they're going to have like a bare minimum, you're going to be able to get a rainbow orb because they create so many. So bare minimum 40% chance to dodge. They're also getting the multiple extra supers within the turn. You've got a bunch of crit chance as well. Like they're really, really good. And they're on a lot more teams as well. But yeah, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta is actually busted. I think he might straight up just be the 3rd best unit in the game if we're just gonna, like, if we're not gonna go too crazy right off the bat and say he's better than the new fusions, which I don't think he is. But you could probably argue that the base versions of these cards, you could probably argue like turn 1 they are better than the Goku or Vegeta from the AGL Vegeta, AGL Gogeta and TEQ Gogeta, TEQ Vegeta cards. I keep mixing the names around, but yeah, the 2 new anniversary headlining Dokkan Fests, Gogeta and Vegeta, their turn 1 forms, TEQ Goku and AGL Vegeta. I mean, I think we'd probably all agree that these guys are better than them on turn 1, which is crazy. And then yeah, Gogeta is just actually insane. Like when this, on this first turn when this guy comes out, as you've already said, like he can't take damage. You have a scouter, you have a 70% chance to counter the super, which then even if he doesn't counter it, you take double-digit damage anyway. Yeah, that's actually insane. Like Gogeta's insanely busted. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Yeah, Gogeta I would say is better because, as someone said in the chat, damage reduction is better than dodge, right? Because dodge can always let you down. Even Inch and Ember with a 90% chance to dodge gets hit in slot 1 sometimes. But damage reduction, because bear in mind, after the first turn when the 77% wears off, he still has the 50% within the turn when receiving an attack if HP is 50% or less. But you get 10% per rainbow keysphere obtained, whereas the gods only get the dodge chance. And yeah, dodge can't be cancelled by certain bosses. Dodge can be cancelled, damage reduction can't. So that's crazy. But yeah, he is absolutely broken, which is awesome for the AGL Super Saiyan 4 Goku, who, imagine you run them together, not only is he getting like Saiyan Raw active, but then Super Saiyan 4 Goku's giving him an extra 70% defense and 10% damage reduction. So that might be one of the, that might actually be one of the best rotations in the game. This guy in slot 1 and then AGL Super Saiyan 4 Goku in slot 2. But, and of course with the stuff that we know is going to be coming from Daima, interesting. But yeah, that is a good thing to point out that I think I missed when I first read it. The damage reduction rate 50% within the turn when HP is 50% or less. So when receiving an attack, he only gets the 50% damage reduction if your HP is 50% or less, whereas the gods get a guaranteed dodge. But with the rainbow orbs on top, like this guy's going to have so much damage reduction, it's fine. But yeah, absolutely busted. Gogeta top 3 in the game. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Do you think the Gogeta, the gap between Gogeta and the gods is too big? Do you think the gods are still really good? I mean, you should still think they're really good. They are really good, but do you think maybe they unbalance them a little bit? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. But yeah, these we would anticipate data download tomorrow, and then the EZA is coming out at the earliest. It would be Thursday morning, but potentially Friday morning. So crazy. Hopefully people are satisfied, right? Because we wanted these guys to be good. They seem really good, but let me know your thoughts in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.